We are live. We are going live. We are going live. Just letting everything integrate. So we are here. We are here to talk about blowing the myth of ROI. We all hear these wonderful words. And I really, yeah, there's many levels I'm going to be teaching on this one tonight, because as soon as we get attached to what we believe our interpretation is the minute that we forget and don't realize that there's something bigger going on here. And I just want to start that out in this conversation, because this conversation is really important when it comes to this, because a lot of people have a certain understanding what they believe ROI is, which obviously is return on investment, right? But we think of that in terms of if I put something into something, it's going to give me a return, right? And this is words that they use in entrepreneurship and teaching you how to run a better business and all that. And this is similar, except that it's much more expanded. So if we look at money, let's start with the word money. Money, what is money? And it's a great question, because a lot of people really do not understand what money is. And the more that we understand what it is, then the more we can honor what it is that we do and why we ask what we ask for when it comes time for having somebody pay us for our services. Money is nothing more than energy, right? It's just energy. It is a means of exchange for something. Like, I've done a certain thing or service in order for me to get something in return for it. And then out of that, I use that in order to get something that somebody else provides, right? It's just energy. It's all it is. It's just a medium of exchange for transferring energy. And so the same thing is with when we invest into something. The moment we invest into anything, right, we are now starting to get entangled with it. And so one of the things that a lot of people talk about is, and I've been guilty of this as many, probably more than most, right, is that I'm self-taught, I'm self-made. And there's a lot of things that I've learned on my own, for sure, right? But also, me saying that is a very ignorant, willful ignorant statement, because learning through experience is the most expensive way to learn anything, right? Because there's lots of things you don't even know what you don't know. And then there's things that you might be somewhat aware of what you don't know. But if you learn from somebody that's walked the path before you, you're going to be able to shorten the learning curve, right? And say it takes you 2 to 5 years to learn stuff the expensive way, like through experience. Say it takes you 5 years to do that. Had you had hired someone or invested into somebody that would have who would have informed you what was necessary for you to shorten your learning curve, and it didn't take you 5 years, but you were able to not have all these things happen and be able to create what you want to create right from the beginning, where would your life be now? Right? Like, really think about that. See, because what we do, the return on investment, if we look at what are we investing into when it comes to our possibility or our ego, right? And if we look at the different aspects of who we are, so you think about, there's a ego part of us, there's a child part of us, and there's a spirit part of us, right? So if you think of ego being like an ice cube, we think of the child as being like water, and we think of the spirit part as being like the steam, right? Like, there's three different characteristics of H2O, three different states of H2O. And which one are you investing into, right? Because each one of them is going to have a different return on the investment of what we put into it. And so for me, and I remember this when I started down this journey 30 some years ago, when somebody would say a word and I wouldn't know what it meant. And a friend of mine says, it's better to look, I can't remember how it goes, but something along the lines of, it's better to look at full in the moment than remain ignorant for the rest of your life, something like that. And so he said, ask people what they mean, or if they say a word that you don't understand, ask them what it means. And of course, in the beginning, when I first started doing this, I had lots of things I got to work through. And of course, the first thing I was is I didn't want to be humiliated by, like, well, you don't know what this word means. And of course, I've got that a few times, but I am totally cool with the fact that someone says a word that I don't know what it means. And a lot of people, I've come to find out that a lot of people don't really know what the word means either. They just use it because they think that it's appropriate for whatever they're saying, right? So what are you investing into? Right? Like, what are you really investing into? I'm more interested in me expanding my awareness than it is for me expanding my ego. Right. And what's really important about this is that, like, think about return on investment. We invest into a football game. Of course, it's getting that time of year. The Super Bowl's coming around again. And as soon as we invest into that football game becomes a different game, right? And so the moment we invest into a concept, or we invest into a label, or what we believe to be right, which is, again, our ego. Again, think of ego as being very, very dense and not wanting to be very flexible. And so if we invest into our rigidity, then we are going to start creating blind spots. And so think about, what is it that you really want to create for 2022? What do you want to create this year? And really getting very, very clear about that, and then getting clear about what is it that keeps you from having that experience happening, right? And so this is what's magical about, I mean, I've always had coaches. I've had coaches for over 35 years. And the reason this is important is that having somebody look at your life objectively, they're not bought into the outcome. They're not bought into the investment of whether my ego is going to be offended or not, right? So really looking at, are you investing into things that are supporting you, or are you investing into things that are sabotaging you, right? That's a great place to start. And if it impacts your ability to be flexible, I'm telling you, friends, you are setting yourself up for sabotage, right? Flexibility and adaptability is one of the most important things when it comes to expanding whatever area of your life that you want to expand. And there's all kinds of things behind what I just said, but ask yourself, what am I getting a return on in the things that I'm investing into in my life? Because the moment you put thought into something, you have created an entanglement, right? Like quantum string theory, the moment you put your life energy, which is your focus, into something, now you start creating an entangled relationship with it, and it really impacts your ability of whether you're going to be objective or not. So, what are you investing into? What are you investing into? Are you investing into being right? Are you investing into not being wrong, which is different than being right? Are you invested into protecting your ego? Or are you really invested into wanting to create what it is that you want to create? Because in order for you to do something different than you've already done, it's going to require a different version of who you are. So you're going to have to look at, what areas of my life am I stuck and not, and well, when I say stuck, I'm thinking I'm referring to being rigid, like not flexible, because those are going to be the areas that's going to cause atrophy, right? In other areas. So think of scar tissue, right? Like I used to be a big UFC fan, and you watch fighters that have fought a lot, they end up getting a lot of scar tissue and they end up having to have that scar tissue cut out. The reason they have to get the scar tissue cut out is because the tissue around the scar begins to break down really easy. So they cut really easy, and it makes them bleed really easy. So they, obviously that's not a good thing when you're fighting. But that's what's happening, is when we get areas of our life that are rigid and hard and not flexible, it causes other areas of our lives to break down easier, right? So looking at, where are you putting your life force, which is your focus, right? It's also your awareness. It's not just your focus, but see, it's where we place our energy, it's going to expand whatever it is. And then there's a term, a psychological term, that says a hidden sunken cost fallacy, which basically says the more you invest into something, the more difficult it is going to be for you to let that go. And this is where it becomes very, I don't want to use such a dramatic word, but sometimes dramatic words are very, very important. Catastrophic. This is where it can be catastrophic of us investing into something and becoming very rigid about being right into whatever we invested into, because we want to protect our ego and not look bad and go, "Oh, maybe what I invested into wasn't the best thing to do," right? Or maybe we invest in, so let's use this as a case, and let's use this as a metaphor. Let's talk about a metaphor. Say you get into a business and you want to create this magical, wonderful thing, okay? And what we do is that we want to have people in our lives that are going to support our decisions, because we're not 100% sold on the idea of whether we're going to make this a reality or not. So what we do is we go into our environment and we invest into their opinion of what they think is possible. Now, they have a different model of the world than we do. However, they're in your life for a reason. Like, we all have harmonic resonance. Like, we have certain people in our lives because this is the resonance that we're at this point. But see, there's a difference in the different domains of your life. There's differences of when to seek out friendship advice and seeking out business advice, right? This is what happens. A lot of people that are wanting to start a business, what they do is they go talk to their friends at the level that they're at, and your friends don't have the ability to access higher levels of understanding when it comes to business. And you just broke down the possibility of what we can create, right? Because we are more invested into the relationship of the friend than we are invested into creating the possibilities of whatever it is that we're just investing into. Friends, what I just shared with you right there is one of the biggest reasons why entrepreneurs get taken out. Not just entrepreneurs, but anybody that wants to advance their lives, is because they're not real clear on what it is that they want to create, and then they don't know what they don't know. And so it's important for you to look at, what are you investing into? What are you investing into? Right? Because we're always investing into something, and somebody, every conversation you are having with anybody, it doesn't matter who it is or what it's about, every single conversation that you are having, there is an energy exchange, right? Somebody is enrolling somebody into something, right? So are you having conversations with people, investing in the conversations with people that are enrolling you into possibility or enrolling you into sameness, right? Because if you want to expand, my friends, you're going to you have to start having different conversations. So what I've decided to do for you is, I've got my potential zone group. Okay. The potential zone group. And I am all about potential. I'm all about teaching people to step into their fullest potential. In fact, I've got a method called the ACE method, which is access, create, expand, right? Access your superhuman ability so that you can create what it is that create your life by design, and expand into unlimited possibilities. That's what ACE stands for, right? And I teach a lot about this in the Potential Zone group. And I've got a big announcement that I'm going to be doing tomorrow night, about a masterclass that I'm going to be teaching at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. And in this masterclass, I'm going to show you what ACE really looks like and how to access it within your own life so that you can expand beyond the things that hold you back, right? Because that's mastery. Mastery is being able to expand into the unknown and stay committed to whatever it is that you want to create, and you expanding and letting go of the things that keep you playing in your comfort zone, right? Because your environment has an investment into you staying the way that you are, right? Like, we train people how to treat us, and they train us how to treat them. And so in doing that, you end up creating this entanglement, right? So I'm here to help you and support you into really stepping into your fullest potential, right? Like, that's my whole thing in my life. This is my purpose: to use my passion, my creativity to empower others to live into their fullest potential. It's been my life's work, right? And in this masterclass that I'm going to be teaching tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, write this down on your calendar, because I'm going to make you this available in the Potential Zone group at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. And in this masterclass, I'm going to make my life work available. Like, I'm the creator of the potential code, which is coding everything within you so that it's aligned to you understanding how to actualize possibility. That's what potential is. It's the actualization of possibility. And it's a code. It's a map. And once you understand what that is, then you know where you're at within the destination of what it is that you want to create, so that you can know what feedback is necessary, what it is that you need to do, and and being able to understand how far you've come as well, right? So again, potential for me is, it's an acronym. It's perspective, it's orientation, it's thinking, it's energy, neurodynamics, trust, integration, awareness, and legacy. That's, to me, what potential stands for. But it's all around actualizing possibility. And so that's what the ACE method is all about, which I'm going to go over in greater detail in this masterclass that I'm teaching tomorrow. So you definitely do not want to miss this masterclass that I'm teaching tomorrow. Go to the Potential Zone group, and that will give you access to the Facebook group. And you will see the announcement that I'm going to be making at 6 o'clock tomorrow, Pacific Standard Time, and give you access to this masterclass that I'm teaching. So, my friends, I appreciate you being here. I always appreciate you being here. And as always, live like your life depends on it, because it does, my friends. And I'm really, really excited for those that decide to invest in expanding who they are, learning how to ace their life, right? And you're going to get access to that by going to the potentialzonegroup.com right now and joining our group. And sorry about that. And I will see you in the masterclass tomorrow night. Until then, my friend, live like your life depends on it, because it does. And you deserve the best, my friend. Be blessed.